Alright guys, so this is the first leg of our trip. I'm gonna start kind of a new series. We'll see how this goes. I might keep it going, I might abandon it, I don't know. But basically today we're gonna be doing a couple different things here. We're gonna be exploring up Forest Road 4052, which will take us up to Devil's Peak Falls. And then there's this lake here, Kelcema Lake. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's kind of a short little hike, maybe like half a mile. So we might do kind of a bike and hike type deal. We'll see how it goes. And after that, maybe on the way home we might do Frog Lake. I'm not sure, but we'll just kind of see how much gas we have. I will be using the Rotopacks today probably, because it did take a pretty fair amount of gas to get up here. So we'll see how this trip goes. I'll be taking clips along the way until we get to the end of where we want to go up here. And then we'll maybe walk up to the lake, maybe not, depending on how sketchy the road is and how many people are up there. I just saw a truck coming down, so there may or may not be a few people up there. We'll see. We'll just kind of read the room there. So without further ado, let's just keep this show rolling. Wasn't expecting that. That was fun. Woo! I'm glad I slowed down. You can definitely feel how loose the gravel is here. What kind of road is this? It's kind of a fun one, I'm not gonna lie. A little rocky, but not bad. considering what kind of worse roads I've been on. It is definitely a little rocky though. You have to really trust your tires, trust your bike. And sometimes I'm just not the best at that. Oh boy. There we go. It's a little bit technical. But I would like to say that this is about as bad as it gets. Whoa. That was a question. I mean, we can't be that far from the end. I'm actually kind of curious. Maybe we can check that out here. Oh wait. Not the worst place to stop. Okay. Wow. Cool. I guess. Oops. Alright, where are we? Yeah, we're not that far. Okay. Oh boy. That's funny. Again, we're not far. There's hope. Okay, let's do this. Tell you what, this makes for a really good video. Roads like these, you know, it's not always fun to watch people just kind of cruising and everything's easy. I just hope we don't drop this thing today. My poor clutch. Okay, this ain't bad. I think we're kind of approaching the end of it here. Oh boy. What are we doing? There we go. Easy. Thank you for letting me through. If you watch this video, I appreciate you. Oh, look, a bottle. Whee! Okay, I guess this is it. All right, we made it. Cool. So one thing I can tell you right off the bat is this is not a wheelchair accessible, very, very kid friendly kind of trail. there's things like this. I know the GoPro likes to make everything look really flat, but this right here is, I don't know, maybe like 3.5 feet. So keep that in mind if you're coming up here. I hope that for the kind of road that it is to get up here and the trail, I hope that it's worth it. But this is interesting because you're walking on a rock. So that's kind of cool. Must be pretty difficult to pass this unless you go around in the winter when it's all slick, because this is pretty wet. So anyway, to be continued is these rocks. They're really cool because they look like either someone had placed them like that as if they were playing Tetris, or the rocks were playing Tetris, because like that is just perfect. And that rock is probably the same part as that one. Like, just when you look and you kind of observe where the rocks break like that, it's just amazing to me. I came over to this behemoth and I was admiring how sharp of a break that was. And it actually does look like this just kind of sheared itself off from this. So, I mean, that is a very, very clean break. It's always cool to see rocks like that. But, yeah, it literally just looks like Tetris. So, I know that my geology isn't quite up to par. I know some of you guys would be looking at me going, yeah, duh, it's just the way that rocks are. But it is always really fascinating to see different rocks, different colors, different formations, and the way they just kind of shear off like that. And then next thing you know, you have a tree growing out of it. So anyway, before I get too distracted and we never make it to the lake, I just thought I'd show you guys that. It's really fascinating. On to the next fascinating thing, I guess. I suppose the next fascinating thing was right in front of me. But you could basically live in there. And if you look, like there's one right behind. There's another one over there. Another one right there. And it just kind of seems like the further up, or, you know, side to side you go, like there's another pocket right there. There's just these cavities. I wouldn't want to call them caves, but, I mean, you could turn it into a shelter if you wanted to. Once again, just another huge emphasis on the rocks. Like they're all the same color and everything, but they're so cool because they're part of the road. There are really cool formations. So, I mean, you're literally just walking on a giant slab of rock. And of course, I am really starting to love this trail because, of course, you know, one of my favorite tree decorations are mushrooms. That is big. Awesome. There's another one up there. Another little one up there. Nice. But I would say this is a great time of year to make your way up here. It's not super hot, and you can still get the sun to shine through the trees. You get that really nice color. But yeah, this is basically what the trail looks like. So, forward we go. So just maybe we can get to a clearer spot. Oh, this is cool. This is so cool. Live reaction, guys. I have never been here before. But you know what this reminds me of? It's like a small version of Baker Lake. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Awesome. Nice. There's dragonflies flying around. If we cross these logs, I think there's another nice little spot to sit right there. Let's give that a shot. It was about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes off of the mountain loop. So, not bad. The road does have its rougher spots, especially if you're not as experienced on an enduro or, dual sport, whatever. So take your time. If you don't have a high clearance vehicle, it might be best to do what those guys did right before that big dip where there was all that loose gravel and I about lost it. I mean, it's really not that bad. The hike is short. It's, according to Onyx, it's like 0.42 of a mile. So, totally manageable. It's just, the only thing you gotta be in decent shape for is the steps, right? So there's like big rocks and roots that you have to step over. Otherwise, beautiful. Super easy to get to. And, I mean, that view is absolutely worth it in my opinion. And you're basically surrounded by a bunch of seemingly old trees like this one. Just lots of greenery. Not a whole lot that can change colors. Granted, it is kind of still early in the fall, but I suppose you do have a little bit of color changing. When you ride up along the mountain loop, you definitely start to see all the maples changing color, so that's a really magical thing. But anyway, I don't hear anybody else over there talking, so I'm gonna kind of venture my way over there. I'm gonna cross those logs one more time, and take a quick hop, see if I can get up there and get one last little view before we start heading back. And yet another thing I'd like to point out is that if you follow this trail, like if you cross the logs and you follow the trail, it ends up right here. It's a very nice place to pitch a tent right by the lake. Got yourself a little fire pit. I would just like to put a really heavy emphasis on obeying the rules when it comes to burn bans. And looks like this might be another trail or a camping spot. So yeah, camping, definitely a good place to camp. Zero hesitation in my mind, I would camp here. But anyway, gosh, enough rabbit trails. Let's get up to that rock. Okay, after a little bit of rock climbing and parkour, here we are. Very nice. Just saw a couple fish jumping way down there. So you guys can see just the clarity of the water that I'm talking about, right? Like you can see all of that. You can see out there, way out there. I'm just going by what I could see out of this tiny little GoPro screen. But point being, you can see pretty far into there. It's amazing to understand just how clean this water is. Now, part of me wonders if this is ground or if this is some kind of result of snowmelt. So anyway, yeah, this was the view that I wanted to see. Just peace, quiet, a nice open lake. A little bit of wildlife in the background. And there you go. All right, time to find our way down. Hey! All right, guys. So that right there was a very fun trip, very successful. The bike didn't take a nap, and yeah. We turned the rubber side down into the muddy side down. It is a good time. Beautiful leaves changing colors. And really, as a concluding note for the lake, I would absolutely do it all over again. That was so fun. The hike was very manageable, very fun. So, highly recommend it. You know, if you're looking for sightseeing in the Mount Loop Granite Falls area, that's definitely a great place to go, especially if you have been to or plan to go to the ice caves. So, anyways, with that being said, I guess this is going to be our concluding note. I'm just going to head down here, take the Mountain Loop Highway towards Darrington, and be on my way home. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. And feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe for more of this kind of content. Like I said earlier, I was going to kind of try to make a lake exploration playlist. I don't know, it's kind of like the first video. We'll see how it goes. But if you guys find any interest in it, let me know. And I'll continue to make videos about just exploring up to certain lakes. Anyways, guys, thanks again. Hope you have a good one.